Sanket, we talk about today's World Press Day, and that's the moot point of this conversation. And we talk about real journalism, and we have seen rise of YouTube news platforms over the last couple of years. And if I were to tell you where is real journalism, which side is real journalism, first of all, this question, according to you. Also, you've spoken about bias in news delivery earlier. Earlier, as in not in on this platform, but earlier. How do you maintain neutrality on YouTube? Also, I want this my next question, where audience expectations often demand strong opinion. It has to be very polarized.
Royal ji, this is very easy to do. I don't. To to expect me to be neutral, to expect me to be balanced, is a misnomer. I mean, I have said this in the past also, that there is only one condition in which Rohel, Shivangi ji, Chaiti ji, Charu ji, Sanket Upadhyay, all of us will become truly neutral and balanced. You know when? The day we are dead. There is no way we can be neutral or balanced. But my point is that how do we ensure that we are opinionated? What should be our opinion? So for me personally, those opinions are based on absolute facts. Now people can argue with my assessment, but I will have my facts, absolute facts to back them. The problem that has started happening is that the opinion has become absolute, and then you go chasing facts. मैंने मन बना लिया है कि ये है मेरी belief, and now I will go hunting for facts. That is the reversal that started happening a lot. And it just doesn't happen in television. It happens 10x more on YouTube. If you think that YouTubers are not culprits, they are exploiting the platform every day. And they are creating a situation where anyone who wants to do this properly, they will have a problem. So it is very important to not have double standards when you talk about confirmation bias. If television has it, if television anchors exhibit it, if television owners exhibit it, it is happening far more on YouTube. It is happening in a very, I would say, a much terrible way than what television is doing, right? And that needs to be controlled. Now, the point about bias, yes, there is confirmation bias. And unfortunately, this is what the viewer is. The viewer knows what he or she wants. Now, what are you doing about it? So then it becomes difficult. My job as a journalist then, see, I'm not a YouTuber. I'm a journalist and I have great clarity on that front. So then I will not do certain things just for popularity. Which is why I will not blindly fall into the trap of being openly biased. And why I say this, I'll give you some examples. If it is important for me to opine that the violence in Murshidabad was a failure of Mamata Banerjee government, it is also equally important for me to opine that a BJP MP, Mr. Nishikant Dubey, immediately in the aftermath of Pahalgam, advocated for Article 26 and 29 of the Constitution to be removed, which gives minorities special rights. Now, how am I pegging this opinion on? What am I pegging this on? Absolute facts. Fact is that this has happened. And that is why I opine that this is not correct. But if I were to only look at one side, I may get immense popularity in that ecosystem, but it will not be correct, no, Rohel?
I want to add one line, like Sanket really pointed out a very important thing, that nowadays journalists, they think that they are not journalists, they are influencers. We are storytellers, we are not story. But nowadays you will see the journalists, they just want to be a story.
I will tell you, this is an Rohel ji, this is an actor and a politician syndrome amongst journalists. मेरे प्रशंसक, मेरे viewers, अरे आप क्या वोट बैंक बटोर रहे हैं? As a journalist, are you supposed to say मेरी ये constituency of my viewers? No, you are failing the very job of a journalist.
Right.
कि ये जाट वोट बैंक मेरा, ये वाला वोट बैंक, this is ridiculous, and that is what is wrong, no? And I'll give you a recent example. अभी आपको याद है this Kuldeep Yadav was seen slapping Rinku Singh. Both these boys are from my lovely state of Uttar Pradesh, and later turned out that they were joking with one another. But this is no way of joking, that you thrash someone and then मैं तो मजाक कर रहा था. It was a kiss and make up that happened later. But I questioned this, that don't do this on camera. Do you know what happened, Rohil ji? I discovered a Samajwadi Party IT ecosystem, which went after me. You know why? Because I was questioning Kuldeep Yadav. Now, this is how ecosystems work. Am I supposed to feel कि नहीं भाई my Samajwadi Party viewers will be upset? So let them be upset. What do I do? So I will say what is right and not what is popular. The opinion will be based, there will be an opinion, yes. It will be based on absolute facts. The opinion itself will never be absolute, and I have this much clarity.
And this bit, when I wanted to know that when you see news on television and news on YouTube by independent journalists, do you think journalism, where is real journalism according to you happening right now?
I don't know how you define real journalism.
I mean,
Yeah, real.
closer to the truth, actually the truth.
That is what people have to decide. You see, it is a secret, not so secret contract between your viewer and that journalist. If a viewer feels, as I said, a viewer is not a journalist is not supposed to serve in isolation. Right? I am not telling this news for myself. I know my foundations, and I'm going to come to them in a short moment. What is the 5-6 point mantra, which is very easy for all of us to follow? At least I am following. And one of those mantras you are also following. For instance, we learned never to have a manel. भाई सब जगह पुरुषों को बिठा दें और 6 पुरुष बैठ करके बात कर रहे हैं on various issues. I am so proud to see that this is not the case on the exchange from media platform. So these are very small things that we can do as journalists, and these are self-imposed rules. So real journalism is really very, very subjective. What I'm doing may be real to me, may be unreal to you. Right. So to each his own. I mean, जिसका जैसा ईमान सबको.
But Sanket, when you're putting facts out there and when you're actually reporting on what matters without having an opinion and then letting the viewer decide, isn't that the way to go? And somewhere, those kind of platforms are falling behind vis-a-vis the highly opinionated platforms who end up getting all the views, who end up getting all the advertising, all the popularity. Then what happens to people who are trying to report facts for what they are?
You see, this is the classic definition that all of us have grown up with. But Chaiti ji, the fact that you are saying this is also your opinion. That journalism should be like this. You see, so you have opined. Now our viewer, it is very normal for viewers. We ourselves do this. We are all opinionated. So is the viewer. He wants an opinion. As I said, it has to be based on facts. There will be certain basic things that you will see. Abhi ye ho gaya, this is the policy that has happened. That information is fine. Let me give you an example.
No, and you know what?
Huh?
You know what? Even journalists, they know the basic rule is very clear that how you want to report. Like if you'll ask me, I'm going to a conflict zone, I'm going to a war zone, whatever I will see, I will report about that. एक होता है कि opinion is the second thing. For me, facts is fact. I will report, I will send it to my office, they will play the way it is. क्योंकि आपको the problem with people nowadays that they want opinion. जैसे संकेत ने कहा कि आपने कोई स्टोरी पे आप गए, फॉर इंस्टेंस अभी पहलगाम ही लोग गए, तो वो एक अपने तरीके की अपने ओपिनियन की स्टोरी कर रहे हैं. बट फिर हमारे पास एक ऐसा भी क्राउड है जो अपने ओपिनियन की स्टोरी कर रहा है. एंड ये दो स्टोरी में कहीं ना कहीं मुझे लगता है व्यूवर्स को भी थोड़ा सा कभी कभी क्लैरिटी मिल जाता है, क्योंकि एक तरफ का व्यूवर कुछ और देखना चाहता है, एक तरफ का व्यूवर कुछ और देखना चाहता है. प्रॉब्लम वही होती है, क्योंकि हम देखते हैं कि लोग कहते हैं चैनल्स ये क्यों दिखा रहे हैं यूट्यूब पे, व्हाई पीपल आर डूइंग दिस. पर viewers are watching. The problem is there that people are watching. आप देखोगे कोई sensible talk कर ले, कोई अच्छी story कर ले, उसको views नहीं होंगे.
नहीं, but
But
Shivangi
जैसे
ji, may I politely disagree? I was told in all television newsrooms, Rohel ji, that ये क्या है, ये unemployment वगैरह की stories नहीं करनी चाहिए. They're very boring. And then later on, I realized that the story is not boring.
the way
The
you
way it
present.
is being presented is boring. And this is a confirmation bias in existing
Yes.
newsrooms. कि
Yes,
छोड़ो इसको,
yes.
ये सब नहीं करो. How can it be that a very important story which affects people day in and day out, आप अगर see, poor storytelling cannot then be put on a viewer. आप कहानी नहीं बता पा रहे हैं और उसके बाद आप वो व्यूअर्स पे डाल देते हैं कि दे आर नॉट इंटरेस्टेड बिकॉज यू आर नॉट टेलिंग इट इंटरेस्टिंगली. You're not touching them at an emotional level. So emotions are also an opinion. They have to be exercised. We are in the business of audio and visual medium. Everything that I'm saying is carrying or transporting some emotion. That is how the medium works. Now, my point is, how much do I use it? How much is too much? So there are people who would then ignore facts and only concentrate on opinion. अब आप सास बहू का सीरियल ही बनाने पे लगे हुए हैं तो फिर then what do I do?
I think what Sanket is saying is the treatment of the existing story with facts and the way you package it and present it to your viewer becomes very important. And I don't want to sit at a place of a high horse saying that, look, we're making content which, we don't care about whether it does well or not. This is our point of view, and this is, we're so esoteric in our storytelling or our speaking. At the end of the day, you have to keep your eyes open on advertising, on the money that is coming in, on the followers you're getting. Maybe you might do it in a phase which comes much later, not at a startup stage, because there you're trying to establish a certain point of view as well. But the way you package it and the way you tell it is something which is very important based on facts. I think the journalism 101 applies to every beat that you do, whether you're doing lifestyle, whether you're doing culture, whether you're doing cinema, whether you're doing politics, whether you're doing economics. The 101 journalism, and you know how to treat the content, I think we won that particular battle. Point number one. I also want to highlight that I remember, Sanket, many years ago, you had done a show on depression. I think it was one of the most engaging shows I've seen for a topic which could become very, very boring. So, and hence proven that I actually took my time out to check out that particular show because I was like, the way he is packaged is a topic like depression, which is very close to my heart. I love telling these stories. He did it in a way where not even for a minute I was checked out. Usually, when you're seeing the long 30-minute shows or 24-minute shows on TV, you do tend to check out for a bit. But Sanket, what you had done, I didn't check out even for a minute. So I think it's the packaging and the kind of context you put into it that matters.
Right. I would request everyone to switch off their microphones because there is some echo happening at the back end while I bring in Charu ji here. You know, if we talk about YouTube, it has it helped democratize political narratives, or has it created echo chambers of its own that are harder to kind of regulate, according to you?
I think that's the paradox of the digital age, right? While we have democratized access and people's voices, the algorithm has led to this creation of ideological silos, in my opinion. And everybody is trying to work the algorithm. So, and this algorithm is not going to reward any kind of nuance. It's going to only reward attention. And the end result is that I'm only going to end up watching what I've already been watching a lot of, or hearing opinions that I have already formed. So, what happens in the end is the divide increases in many ways. My opinions become more and more cemented as time goes on. And this algorithm war, and Sanketji was talking about it, Chaiti was talking about it, it's extremely real. And it's so difficult for most people to break out of this because your very reason to be on social media, whether you're using Instagram or YouTube, is to somehow rig the algorithm to be more and more visible to your audience. So while I do say yes, the access has been democratized, at the same time, these echo chambers have become massive, quite difficult to break out of. And that does lead to a divide. So I think, the way I'd like to put it is that the mic can be in everyone's hand, but the volume knob still belongs to the algorithm, and that's the paradox of journalism on social media.
Right. Uh, Chetty, while you are working, you've started the French Press Global, and you are setting a tone to it, the content that you would that we will see. Uh, I mean, what factors are you looking at to build that distinct tone that is not lost in the noise that we see on YouTube? I mean, what are the elements that you're focusing on?
Ruhil, very interesting question, because that's exactly what we're working on at the startup stage right now. What we're doing is we're defining our voice, we're defining our point of view. We are making it credible storytelling in this particular space where we want to be, uh, with a lot of cultural intelligence. That also means that we have to define our target audience in terms of demographics, etc., extremely well, because we are very clear we are not catering to the masses. So going backwards from the content that is going to be sellable, also, we also are identifying the brands that would resonate with the kind of content that we are currently creating, right? So we are not a mass market product, and we don't want to live under that impression that we are mass market and we're suddenly going to do stellar numbers and all the FMCG advertising. It's not going to happen, because that's not the story we are trying to tell. We have a certain audience which is highly literate, globetrotters, people who have a cultural context from all over the world, and we are contextualizing a different kind of beats according to their tastes and preferences. And at the end of the day, what we're doing is we're not trading trust for traffic at this point. We will eventually, but for traffic for us does not mean high numbers. Traffic for us means reaching the eyes and ears of the people who belong to my target audience base, because that's all I care about at this point of time. I'm also talking largely earlier when I was when I was in mainstream media as a political journalist, etc. I used to think very differently. I was very idealistic in my approach. I always wanted to put facts first, which is why I got disillusioned with television, also saying that, it's highly opinionated. And as Sanket mentioned, it's only catering to a certain cognitive bias where you form your opinions and you retrofit your facts according to it. So for me, it was a matter of great disillusionment, illusionment when it came to television journalism. But today, as I make this digital forward, digital first platform, and make that content bank, which is getting ready for a rollout, I've become less idealistic. I've become more realistic, but I also know extremely well that the trust needs to be built first. The traffic will come in the second phase. There will be a clear differentiation between the formats that we are going on. So if there is something which is only reportage and news to do with fashion, culture, and lifestyle, it will be labeled such. If there is reportage, if there is supposing a highly opinionated content that we want to put out there, it will be labeled as opinion, because I never want to, um, uh, you know, I don't want to lie to the viewers at the end of the day. That is just a personal guardrail editorially that I've been following for a very long time. And that's what I would like to reflect here also. There's also a lot of cultural sensitivity we keep in mind, because you run the chance of cultural appropriation when you're doing the content that we are doing, right? And the tone of voice, we've been very clear. It is going to be an editorial edge with journalistic roots. It's going to be smart, but it's at the same time going to be very stylish, because I know exactly the audience who I'm speaking to. The other very interesting thing is that while we are developing this kind of content, and I know that the advertising is not going to happen for another 1 year. I would go as far as, like, I have my team who tells me, no, the advertising will come in 6 months. I said, no, forget about the advertising coming in 1 year. What I've done at French Press Global is I've diversified into events. I've diversified into intellectual IPs. I've diversified into making OTT content for others. So the revenue streams are going on. Now, while that revenue is coming in, it gives me the ability to not chase the numbers, because I know my money is getting taken care of. So now I can at least make content that I truly believe in and stand for. Time will tell whether it is succeeded or not, but for the moment, this is the track we are on.
I know Shivangi has to go for a bulletin, the compulsions of doing live television. Shivangi, between television and YouTube, दोनों में से ज्यादा आपको आसान क्या लगता है? ज्यादा प्रेशर किस पे है?
I don't think कि मेरे को कोई pressure है. I feel very, see, you know what? It comes with experience. It's been more than a decade I'm working with television, and when this digital era came, so we evolve. We learn how to do it. What is YouTube? What is Instagram? How Facebook is working nowadays. If you'll come to news channel, like any news channel, you will see there is a separate department for digital, and they put a lot of money, lot of efforts, lot of manpower, because they know what is the impact of social media and how it is impacting television as well. So आई डोंट थिंक सो ये हमारे लिए मुश्किल है, क्योंकि अगर मैं चैनल पे 4 बुलेटिन करती हूँ तो मुझे लगता है मैं दिन में कम से कम 4 यूट्यूब के, फेसबुक के लाइव करती हूँ. आई मेक इंस्टाग्राम रील्स, यूट्यूब शॉर्ट्स, एंड आई थिंक जो टेलीविजन जर्नलिस्ट हैं आज के डेट में, अगर आप उनको बिठा के पूछे तो मुझे ऐसा लगता है कि दे नो द बिजनेस ऑफ डिजिटल प्लेटफॉर्म्स, कैसे काम करता है, कैसे ऑपरेट करता है. तो अब जनरली क्या होता है, इफ यू आस्क मी फॉर इंस्टेंस, माय मॉम, शी डजंट गेट टाइम टू वॉच मी ऑन टीवी. वो क्या करती हैं, वो बाद में मुझे डिजिटल प्लेटफॉर्म पे ही जाकर देखती हैं. तो समटाइम्स तो ऐसा होता है कि टीवी में कर रही हूँ, लेकिन फिर मुझे ऐसा लगता है कि नो नो, माय फैमिली विल वॉच मी ऑन यूट्यूब और लाइक फेसबुक. तो आई पुट लॉट ऑफ एफर्ट्स देयर. तो इट इज नॉट डिफिकल्ट, इट्स जस्ट दैट आपका जो कैमरा है या आपकी जो ऑडियंस है वो वहीं पर है, बस एक माध्यम बदल जाता है.
Right.
मुझे एक चीज ऐड करनी. I just want to add one thing. So one of the things that French Press Global does is creating content around beauty. Now that doesn't mean we become content creators, headless content creators, where a brand sends us products and we're just advertising the product and talking about it. When we approach beauty, we adopt journalistic standards while doing that. So say, for example, you will see a lot of these DIY beauty, channels with millions and millions of views, but they're all misrepresenting facts. They're all misleading the audiences, because any statement that you made today, when it comes to health, when it comes to wellness, when it comes to beauty, you have to have the guardrail. Is there randomized clinical trial data done on this or not? Number one, if this is the product you are promoting. Number two, is the FDA clearances, are they in or they are not? Number three, what do the medical fraternity have to say about it? Number four, are they in vivo tests done on this? For example, you will see a lot of videos that say, oh, we're having IV parties, or we're having Botox parties, or, today we're going to be talking about this ingredient, which is salmon sperm, which is the best for your skin. And you'll see virality like there is no tomorrow. But that's not what we do. Because I know that my audience will come to the channel for me to tell you, number one, randomized clinical trial data exists, does not exist. Number two, what's the percentage of accuracy of that particular data through all the peer-reviewed research articles and an aggregate of a percentage that we come to. Number three, it will also have information whether FDA has cleared it or not. If it is cleared, why is it cleared? If it is not cleared, why is it not? Number four, it will always go with a disclaimer of how you need to do this under medical supervision alone and not fall for these fads which go viral but cause extreme amount of harm to your body. So I think the way in which we approach is very different. And I know that my numbers will not do as great as the viral content creators out there in this space. But at the end of the day, any discerning audience wants to trust the content that comes out on digital platforms, which are so democratic right now. They know they need to come to us.
Right. Shivangi, I think you're.
Yes. I just want to go, and before I leave, thank you so much for having me here, and I hope I will get a link or something so that I can listen the other part of this panel discussion.
We're talking of YouTube, so 100% you're getting a link.
Yeah. Thank you. Have a good day, everyone.